In 2024, there are loads and loads of awesome racing games that you can pick up right now, and even more that are right on the horizon. Which makes this question even weirder. Why did I pick up a 10-year-old video game?
This video is brought to you by my awesome sponsors. Make sure to check out the affiliate links in the description below. Thanks again for all the support.
Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Matt, and welcome to, yes, DriveClub. This one's kind of interesting, because I'll try to make this a long story short. I played a lot of PlayStation 1 games, played a lot of PlayStation 2 games. My family couldn't afford a PlayStation 3 and had a lot of really mature rated games, so my parents never thought it was great to get a PlayStation 3, so we bought a Wii instead. I went through high school and in college, and then finally got a gaming rig. And only recently, because of Gran Turismo 7, did I finally get back into the PlayStation ecosystem. Gran Turismo single-handedly made me purchase a PlayStation 5 and then start playing all sorts of amazing PlayStation games that I've missed out over that decade-long, almost 20 years actually. 20 years of PlayStation that I haven't been involved with. So, with all the games that I missed out on, why DriveClub? And the reason being is I've been watching an absolute ton of Digital Foundry content recently, and every now and again they would pull out this game called DriveClub for performance testing of comparing Gran Turismo visuals to DriveClub. And I'm like, why are they so focused on this 10-year-old game? And then fairly recently they worked on a PS5, a modded PS5, and said, hey, this is what DriveClub would look like with a 60 FPS patch. So finally I decided to check out this game, where I spent 20 bucks off of Amazon, got this game, and today, for the very first time, I am playing it. This is only event number 2, so no, I'm not very far in this at all. But so far, I can kind of understand a little bit as to why this game was as beloved as it is now, but kind of struggled on release. So as the story goes, DriveClub is produced by a development studio named Evolution Studios. Now, as it goes, this was supposed to be released with the PlayStation 4 upon release. However, it appeared that due to a couple of issues in development, primarily with the dynamic menus, so being able to switch in and out of menus, had caused this game to be severely delayed to the point where it was not actually released until October 2014. And you would think, well, with that extra nearly 2 years, that means the game was incredibly polished, right? Kind of. Well, the game itself was fine, but upon release, there was huge amounts of server stability issues to the point that it created such a backlash that the first couple of DLCs were actually sent out to all players for free because it was that bad. And it was announced shortly thereafter that Sony would shutter the studio, and the studio would be absorbed into Codemasters, who would then be absorbed into Criterion. And that was it. So this development team, who is known for MotorStorm, would go on to create an incredibly hyper-realistic game to showcase the PlayStation 4, and then it didn't go as well as expected, and then that's it. They're gone. So after 10 years, why are we still talking about this game, even though it didn't make meet expectations? Well, the first and foremost is the reason why I didn't say photorealistic graphics instead hyper-realistic is because at the time, this game absolutely blew the competition out of the water. I mean, even by today's standards, this is a phenomenally looking game. For example, it, in my opinion, looks better than Forza Motorsport. There, I said it. I mean, but really, most racing games look better than Forza Motorsport, even by today's standards, but I digress. The thing that I love about this game is, on top of the awesome graphics, it's at a stable 1080p 30, which, coming from the PlayStation 4, was pretty good. So the other thing that I wanted to point out as well is the sound effects, how visceral they are. When it comes to sound effects, most racing games, I mean, yeah, you record like the engine note when it's revving and all the rest of it, and you record the engine note when it's like going at speed, and that's fine. But this game here, with all the opponents and the tires squealing and everything, it just has this extra little layer of spice that a lot of games still today don't have. I mean, Forza Motorsport sounds fine, but even Gran Turismo has this problem, is the tires. There's just something about the tires in those games that it just doesn't sound like that you're going that fast, or it's just like, it's kind of meh. But honestly, I feel like having proper tire sound effects really helps make a game, because the more realistic it is, the more realistic and more involved the driver is. And like I was saying, with everything going on, the tires just add this very visceral reaction where it's like, oh man, you are really taking that corner fast. I mean, it's really good. So as much as I want to give this game some praises, it appears that part of the initial reception of this game, that there were a couple of things that needed to be worked on. Primarily, as a lot of reviewers pointed out, is that the AI was not quite, as you can tell, they are not all that smart, but to be fair, a lot of AI in a lot of racing games kind of struggle, so that's not necessarily anything new. One of the other things that wanted to be pointed out as well was a comment being made stating that the environments were pretty lifeless. And I'll admit, when you have those overhead, like, drone panning shots of the environment, they don't look all that amazing. Like, they're fine. But again, that can be also like another critique that you could have about all sorts of racing games. I mean, again, Forza Motorsport has some of the most uninteresting environments that I've seen in a while. Bland almost. But I mean, take a look at this, where you've got the light reflecting off of the water and it's creating such like this shadow upon your car. Yes, I'll admit, you can see the crowd just kind of standing there, like, loosely waving at you as you go by. But I don't know if I'm really paying attention to that all that much, because, again, like I've been stating before, the racing itself is real good. Apart from the drifting physics, which was another point of contention, which, to be fair, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's not very intuitive. But with all that said and done, in my mind, like, these are all pretty bog standard, like, critiques that a lot of racing games struggle with. but I just can't get over those graphics and the sound. That is the two most engaging things that you can have in a racing game. And this one just, for a 2014 game, if I were to take a look at all sorts of racing games from 2014, this one would just absolutely take the cake on absolutely every one of them. It's just phenomenal. Now, to be completely fair, as much as the critiques are fairly bog standard, the one thing that I will critique on is how it is a 10-year-old game. So controller support is a little bit kind of shaky. Yes, I am technically playing on a wheel, but in the settings I have wheel vibration turned all the way up and force feedback turned all the way up. And guess what? I got nothing. There's not a absolute any feeling to be felt whatsoever. But it is working technically. But one of the other things that I was noticing too was that when it comes to, I wanted to, like most racing games, I wanted to have a manual flappy paddle gearbox so I could go through the gears as, you know, as you're driving. And those didn't work either. Whenever I'd hit the up paddle or the right paddle to go up a gear or whatnot, it would change the camera. So I'd go to the controller settings to change the button configuration, and guess what? Nothing would happen. Even though I'd have different buttons and I'd hit save, whenever you'd hit the right paddle, you would still change the camera. So I imagine this is entirely down due to driver support, where the Fanatec GT DD Pro, as cool as it is, as awesome as it is, DriveClub wasn't produced with this wheel in mind at all. I imagine if you had a wheel from 2014 that it would work just fine, and you would have force feedback, and you would actually be able to have some accurate button configuration to your liking. But if you're trying to play it on PS4 with a modern wheel, or a PS5 even with a modern wheel, nah, not really working out there. So my thought is for a best experience as it was intended, I would definitely recommend just playing on console on your living room TV with a PS4 or PS5 controller. That would probably be for the most optimal experience. And with all the problems I've experienced with the button mapping and the lack of vibration and force feedback and all the rest of it, I'm still having a great time. With all of that being said, let me know down in the comment section what your guys' favorite things are about DriveClub. And let me know what other kind of hidden gems that you guys enjoyed playing. Whether it be for PS3, PS4, even PS5 when it comes to some of those racing games. I'd love to be able to take a deep dive back in time and take a look at some of the awesome games that we've missed out on that definitely hold up in time. So again, thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week with the next one. So again, thanks so much. We'll see you guys later. Bye.